Back with another video, June 26th while it's closed. So let's jump into the video. So, we're going to talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League. This is going to be like another movie review 4 years later. Because, I mean, the movie's 4 hours, so you can. It's only so much time that you can watch this film. But I seen it 2 weeks ago when I was on vacation. And I love it even more. I mean, the movie still holds up. And that's because Zack Snyder is a good director. He definitely put his all into it. And we're going to explain why, in my opinion, that it's a masterpiece. Now, I picked this up at the $5 bin last week because, I mean, it's worth it. I'm not going to never open this. This is just a collector's item because I believe if DC continues on the path that they're on with this mediocrity, you're not going to get quality films like this. And this film's going to be worth more than $5, especially if it's unopened. So, go to your local Walmart, buy this film, never open it because it'll be worth a lot of money one day. But let's just jump into this video because we're about to talk why it's a masterpiece. I mean, I do think Zack Snyder's Justice League is the best DC film that Zack has ever put out. I mean, yeah, he put out Man of Steel, he put out BVS. Those are classics. But I think this 4-hour cut and the circumstances surrounding it is his best work. Now, I can't necessarily, it is his best work because we didn't get parts 2 and 3 yet. But as of right now, I think it's his best work that he's ever done. I mean, just from the opening sequence, it leaves off where BVS ended. And I think this is a good sequel, a direct sequel to BVS. And this is what Zack Snyder's Justice League story is because it continues the story. And just from that opening sequence, you see Superman yelling in pain or yelling in death, and he's waking up the mother boxes. You see his screen, just the CGI on the screen, going to the Amazonians, going to where Aquaman is. I mean, you just feel it, and it gets you engaged in the story. So just from that opening scene alone, it really immerses you into that world. It makes you care about what happened to Superman, even though his death was really short. But it makes you care. So Zack Snyder did a good ass job with that. He also did a good job of giving all the characters their shine. I mean, this is 4 hours. This is 4 hours and something minutes long. And at some points, you don't want it to end. I did have a problem with the title cards at first, but after watching it, I learned that you take in so much content, you need that breather. So that's not even a nitpick of mine no more. I do have a few. But Zack Snyder he give all the characters their shine. The only two characters I have a problem with in this film is Batman and Superman, but Wonder Woman she did a good job, especially in the first act with handling those hostages. She's badass. The music's badass. It's shot very good. The score, Hans Zimmer, is on point. You have the Flash and his moments when he saved Iris from the car crash, and his most standout performance was in the third act when he saved the world pretty much by turning back time. Just the music alone and the way it's shot and the dialogue when he's burning, he screams like ugh. I mean, just the music and how Zack pictured it and how he looks back seeing the world is just blown up. Classic scene. I think it won like a nomination or something at an NBA game or something like that. It was one of those games, but I think it's like the best scene in a movie or something. So the Flash shines. He does bring that comedic relief when it's needed. So I appreciate that. Aquaman, again, he's badass in that scene. He didn't really have any good standing out scenes because he was just that bad dude, that played his role. So, but he did get his shine. So I enjoyed that. Cyborg, okay, he was definitely the heart of the story. I mean, Zack had to pretty much put his story, his movie into this film, and he did a good job with that. The relationship with his father, his mom, and then, him struggling to find his new self. I think Zack did a good job with that, especially in that scene where he's helping out the lady. And the music is playing and the dialogue is playing from his dad, and he sees the struggling mother he gave her some money, so I really enjoyed that about Cyborg. He had a lot of standout scenes. It was his story. Grace Randolph actually cried on a scene that I noticed when he walks in with the Justice League when they go revive Superman, and his father, the dude from Terminator or whatnot, I think his name is Joe something, Morgan or something like that, he just looks at him with that happiness in his face that his son is a part of something. I picked up on that before Grace Randolph said anything, but she just brought it to my attention why I felt what I felt when I seen that scene. And she actually cried when she was giving her review because of that scene. So Zack Snyder knows how to pull those emotions out. I mean, everybody was happy during this time when this film was announced. Batman and Superman is the only ones I have a problem with because it wasn't the BVS Batman. I wanted the BVS Batman in Zack Snyder's Justice League. They toned down his violence. I guess because, Zack was trying to say that Batman felt sorry for, going after Superman or something like that, which he did a good job, but I wanted the violent Batman. I wanted that original suit. I just wanted that BVS Batman in, him fighting Steppenwolf. I just wanted that. Superman stole the show, and Clark stole the show in the scenes, and he's in when he's revived. You see him hugging his mom and Lois. Just that whole shot was really good, and the music. From the time Superman walks into the ship, he's looking around confused, but you hear Russell Crowe and Kevin Costner in the background, and then you have that shot where he's about to take his first flight again, and you see the gravel coming up, and you see his hair waving, his cape flapping, and he just goes up to the sun and does that Jesus pose. I thought that was really badass. The only problem with Superman, though, it just wasn't enough. I wanted him to struggle a little bit with Steppenwolf. He just came there whooping his ass, which I don't have a problem with, but I just wanted more Superman. I wish they would have just made him struggle a little bit. I wish they would have let that sequence play out a little bit. Give us some more Superman because he's back. But overall, I just think Zack still did a good job. I think the villains did a good job. Steppenwolf did a good job. He stole the show in every. He stole his role in every scene he was in. Like, I would say his best scene was when you find the Amazonians. Yeah, the Amazonians, when he was knocking them off the horses like they was just like, when they was nothing. Like, he stole the show in every scene that he was in. So shout out to Steppenwolf. Decide his voice at the end when he said, "I told you Steppenwolf will fail." He stole the show in that scene. He owned his role. And of course, Darkseid, especially when young Darkseid was coming, he stole the show. When they showed that sequence when he was fighting the Amazonians and the gods and all that, he stole the show. And especially at the end, just his voice alone, he stole the show when he said, "We'll use the old ways." He was badass. Shout out to the Lethal Geeks because I believe they actually interviewed Ray Porter, the actor. I think, is that his name? Or I know they interviewed him. So shout out to the Lethal Geeks. Go check out that interview. Now, I do have some nitpicks, just minor nitpicks. Yes, the film is long. I did have a nitpick against the title cards at first, but now I don't, because it's just like you need that breather. You need, you get so much content, you just need that little breather. But I would like to see a version without the title cards. Again, it wasn't enough Superman. Batman wasn't violent. He wasn't the BVS Batman. But I think the major nitpick that I do have is Zack didn't really know how to end this film. Like, from the moment they square off and defeat Steppenwolf and they do that stare down with Darkseid, there's almost like a 15 to 20 minute more footage to go, and it felt like it was adding on, because I felt like he should have ended it when either they were staring down Darkseid, or when Darkseid said he was going to use the old ways, or he should have ended when that shot at all the Justice League members is on that mountain, and you get that nice shot of all of them, and the music is celebrating their accomplishment. So Zack didn't end it there. There's still like another 15, at least 15, almost 20 minutes of just add-on stuff, like, because you had the dialogue between him and Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck about him getting the bank back, they moving their stuff back in the house. Then you had the Lex Luthor sequence of him escaping jail in the cell, and then you had Lex Luthor on the boat talking to Deathstroke. Then you had the nightmare sequence. Then you had Bruce talking to Martian, the Manhunter guy, Martian the Manhunter. So it seemed like Zack didn't know where to end it, But I do appreciate him at least putting that nightmare sequence in, because it made you want it more. It just made you want it more. And then, like I said, it follows BVS. So that's the only nitpick I have. He just didn't know where to end it, because, like I said, once they stare down and defeat Steppenwolf, there's like an extra 15, 20 minutes added on. But overall, I think this is a masterpiece. And I think the fans want to see a conclusion to Zack's story. I mean, if you go back to the reviews, Grace Randolph, she cried in her review. Tyrone Magnus, Jeremy Johns, all these guys, the top YouTubers, they was happy, because we didn't think it was gonna be this good, and everybody was expecting that WB was gonna continue it, but they didn't. They shot it down. So that's why I'm like, we got to keep our wallets closed so we can get this masterpiece finished, because it is a masterpiece. Yeah, there's some nitpicks in there, but it is a masterpiece, and it's something that the majority of the fans want. So, but what do you guys think? That's my 4-year review. I think Zack Snyder's Justice League is still a masterpiece 4 years later. Tell me what you think. Do you think it's a masterpiece? Like, share, comment, and subscribe. And remember, no Snyderverse, no money. Keep them wallets closed. Peace.